So here we have 2017 question 4, and this is Leaving Cert Ordinary Level. So this is a question on algebra. So firstly, when I have this, I'm going to have to multiply out my brackets. So I'll just write out, so I have 11x and then minus 5 by 2x, so that gives me minus 10x, and then minus 5 by minus 1 gives me plus 5. And then I have 3 by 6, so that gives me 18, and 3 by minus x gives me minus 3x, and then I have a plus 3 here at the end. So now I'm going to group together terms that have the same variable. So I have 11x minus 10x, so that's going to be x, or just 1x. And then I have plus 5, and then I have 18, and then plus 3, so that'll be plus 21 minus 3x. So I'm going to try get anything with an x on one side and anything that doesn't have an x on the other side. So if I want to get x's, say, on the left, I can plus 3 on both sides. So that'll be x plus 3x plus 5 is equal to 21. And if I want to get my 5 to this side, I can minus 5 from both sides. So x plus 3x is equal to 21 minus 5. So now I have x plus 3x, so that'll be 4x. And then 21 minus 5 will give me 16. So then I can divide both sides by 4. So divide both sides by what's attached to the x. So then I get x is equal to 4. And that is my answer for that. And then the next part was, so we were given two equations. So x plus 5 is equal to 2x, y plus 5, and then x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. So this is an example of a linear. So the first equation is linear, and then the second is a non-linear simultaneous equation. So it's a little bit different to the way that we're used to doing it. So what we have to do in this case is, if we're to solve, we can't cancel y squareds and y's together. But what we can do is, in this case, what we usually do is write the linear equation in terms of one of the variables. So have the linear in terms of x is equal to, or have it as y is equal to. And then we sub in that value for x or y into our nonlinear equation and we solve. So the easiest way, I think, would be get y is equal to something, because in our linear. So we have y plus 5 is equal to 2x. So if we subtract 5 from both sides, we get y is equal to 2x minus 5. So if we sub in, wherever there's a y, we sub in 2x minus 5, and then we'll just have x's. And when we just have one variable that we don't know in our equation, we can solve it. Because when we have two unknowns, we can't solve it. So x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. So I'm going to sub in my value for y. So it's going to be 2x minus 5 squared is equal to 25. So when I have a bracket like this squared, I can't just square the 2x and square the minus 5. What I actually have to do, and I'll do it on the side, I have to actually multiply this out, because squared means I'm multiplying it by itself. So it's going to be 2x minus 5 and then 2x minus 5. And then what I have to do, in this case, I now have to split my first bracket, and then my 2x by my second bracket, which is 2x minus 5, and my minus 5 by my second bracket, which is 2x minus 5. So then you have 2x by 2x, which gives me 4x squared, 2x by minus 5, which gives me minus 10x, minus 5 by 2x, which gives me minus 10x, and minus 5 by minus 5, which gives me plus 25. So then I have 4x squared minus 20x plus 25. So instead, I'm going to just put that in there. So where I have this, I'll just put in 4x squared minus 20x plus 25. And then that's equal to 25. So now I'm going to simplify it a bit. So I have a x squared and a 4x squared. So that gives me 5x squared minus 20x plus 25 is equal to 25. So I might move my 25, this 25 over to that side. So then I'll have 5x squared minus 20x. So I can subtract 25 from both sides. So plus 25 minus 25 is equal to 0. So then they're just going to cancel. So then I just have 5x squared minus 20x is equal to 0. So now I have this example of highest common factor. So I have to take out my highest common factor, which would be 5x, and then I'm left with x minus 4 equals 0. So I have to let each of these equal 0. So I have to let 5x equal 0. So then x will be equal to 0. And I have to let x minus 4 is equal to 0. So then x is going to be equal to 4. But I'm not finished yet. I have to go back now and figure out what y is. So I got two answers. I got x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 4. So I might sub these values back in. It might be easy to sub it back into my linear, and then I'll get what y is equal to. So first case, when I'll just put in two cases. So when x is equal to 0 and when x is equal to 4. So when x is equal to 0, if we sub into y plus 5 is equal to 2 x, so when x is 0, y plus 5 is equal to 0, so y is equal to minus 5. So that's the first pair. And when x is equal to 4, I get y plus 5 is equal to 2 multiplied by 4. So y plus 5 is equal to 8. So y is equal to 8 subtract 5. So y is equal to 3. So my two pairs of answers, so I got in my first pair, x is equal to 0, and then y is equal to minus 5. And then my next pair, I get x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 3.